Sitting up tall, just double check that butt flesh adjustment. And I'm just take a few moments to center ourselves here in yoga. So I'm placing my hands on the lap, palms up, facing the ceiling. Relax the shoulders down. If you're comfortable doing so, close your eyes and just begin the process of breathing deeply, if you can, in and out through the nose. Just listening to the sound of your own breath allows us to stay present in the moment, in time. Soften the face, soften the mouth, the eyes. Just take a few moments to find gratitude and appreciation for this space, this place in time in which we've come together to share our yoga practice with each other. The word yoga means yoking, union, and finding gratitude and appreciation for this platform of Be Green with Amy, and gratitude to Amy that we can meet here together in sharing the process of taking care of ourselves as we inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And now let's slowly open the eyes, lower the hands down, and I'm going to sit forward a bit on the chair. Now, for those of you with back issues, if you have another cushion, you can put it behind you. I think I didn't say the remainder of the yoga accessories, so I'm sorry about that. We're going to be using also a yoga strap. I have an 8-foot strap and yoga blocks. So just as a gentle reminder, level 1, level 2, and level 3. So by sitting forward on the chair, some of you may need to put an additional cushion behind you. Now I'm going to place my hands over my knees. And on the inhale, everyone's invited to do this position. I'm going to start to create a baby back bend. You see that? A little bit of an extension in that back as I slide my hands up toward the groin, hold here, broaden across the front of the chest, lift the chin, get some nice stretch here in the anterior neck muscles, helping also that thyroid gland. Now, for those of you with back spine issues, you're not going to come into the next movement. I invite you to come into neutral, whereas the rest of us are going to continue into spinal flexion. So when you're in a spinal flexion, you want to think of this as a seated abdominal crunch. Draw that belly button in toward the small of the back. And then inhale, present the heart. So this is your seated cow, your back extension. And then exhale, I move the head last into the seated cat, that abdominal crunch. Keep drawing belly button in, engage that transverse abdominis. And again, inhale, lifting up, little subtle back bend of the cow. And the last position we're going to hold here now in the cat. Keep drawing the belly button in. And folks, this is why you don't want to eat for a few hours before you do yoga. And then we slowly come back up to center. And I'm staying forward on the chair, and I want to emphasize back extension. So I just slip my hands in behind the space here provided by the chair. I'm lifting my cushion a little so I can get the heel of the hand on the seat. And now from here, a bit more of a back extension. Everyone's invited for this. You want to lift the head, lift the chest, and form that back bend. We do so much forward flexion in life, computerizing, texting, reading, eating, everything is out in front, driving. So we want to offset some of that. Now, if you want to drop your head back, you can. I'm not going all the way back. Now, be careful, though, if you have vertigo and you're medicated for hypertension. You want to be careful about how low you drop that head. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hold. Let's just take a couple of nice big shoulder rolls, up, back, and down, up, back, and down. Now I'm going to sit back into the chair all the way, and I want to work on lateral flexion, side bending. So I'm going to take the outside leg of the chair, sliding down, turning the sternum up toward the ceiling. Opposite hand to waist. Now, if you have rotator cuff or pinched nerve issues, keep your hand on your waist. Otherwise, you start to bring that arm out, up, and as far over as possible. But maybe this is about as far as you can go. So don't do this thinking, oh, I'm going to go further. You're not, and you might actually aggravate your shoulder. So you want to just keep the elbow straight. Otherwise, you go to what you can handle. Turn that sternum up. Hold here in that lateral flexion. It's also known as crescent moon variation, Anjaneyasana. Now exhale, I can look down over my shoulder. Inhale, look up at the middle finger. Exhale, look down. Be careful with the rotations with vertigo. And inhale, look up. Exhale, look down. Inhale, look up. Now I'm going to turn that palm toward the ceiling. Grab an imaginary hook. Inhale. Exhale, vigorously reach out. Push into that opposite foot. Take a hold of the outer leg of the chair. Same thing. Just get that slight, subtle rotation toward the ceiling. It's not a big twist. Hand to waist or up and over. Whatever works for you. Now we're stretching that internal and external oblique muscles, I should say, and the muscles between the ribs, the intercostal muscles, which are responsible for 25% of your respiratory cycle. By keeping that sternum up toward the ceiling, I am not collapsing the side organs. Hold here. And then inhale, turn the palm up, grab a hook. Exhale, push down on the opposite foot. Vigorously reach on out. Hold steady a moment. Just notice what's going on here. So I'm going to turn and face you. For the moment, I want you to bring your hands on your side ribs. And then as you inhale, I want you to think your ribs are an accordion. You're going to expand the ribs from side to side. And then on the exhale, they naturally retract. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Now turning forward. I'm going to sit a bit forward. Again, if you need support, go for it. Now, I want to tie in rotation of the vertebral column, but I have to be careful of you with back and spine issues. So I'm going to demonstrate this 3 ways for us. Hands are on the thighs, and I'm going to do what's called a Sufi grind, but I'm keeping myself up pretty high here. So I'm keeping the movement small and then reverse direction for those of you with the back spine issues. Now, if you really don't have those issues and you want to go with the legs a little wider, well, yeah, you'll be able to make a bigger movement. Just make sure you take the movement in both directions, and because the hips are straight forward, we're literally working the rotation of the vertebral column. I'm going to choose to bring the legs wider into what's known as Upavishta Konasana, seated wide angle, but I'm not going to turn the feet out as much as I normally do for this. I'm going to turn the feet in. Now I can get a really big, delicious movement. So what am I actually doing here in Sufi grind? I'm doing spine flexion, spine extension, lateral flexion. When you tie them all together, there's that rotation of the vertebral column. Make sure you go in the opposite direction. This is so lovely for the back, but not for those with back spine issues. And when you come all the way forward, folks, don't drop your head for GERD, vertigo, or hypertension. And we come back upright. I'm going to bring the toes, heels, coming in toward each other. I'm going to stay right where I'm at. Oh, my feet are probably about hips width apart. And those of you with back spine issues, I'm going to show you how you're going to do this. We're going to repeat one posture 3 times. So we're going to first, for those of you with the back spine issues, you place your left hand on the outside of that right thigh, right hand to the outer hip. It's going to be a twist. You keep this very small, right? You just very tiny, think 10, the 11 and 1 o'clock on the face of the clock. Otherwise, the rest of us, left hand. Now inhale, take the right arm up. As you exhale, you're going to laterally, externally rotate the shoulder. Take a hold of the chair anywhere that you can land that hand. And inhale, I lengthen the spine by pushing down into both feet. And then exhale, turn and twist, looking over the shoulder. This is a variation of Ardha Matsyendrasana, half spinal twist, half fish pose. You don't force the arms, folks, to make you go deeper into a twist. You can get hurt that way. You draw the belly button in, and wow, are we going after the transverse abdominis, internal and external oblique muscles. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, torso, arm forward. I take it to the other side. Inhale, up. Exhale, laterally rotate. Get it in there behind the chair, alongside the chair, wherever you can reach. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhale, take the twist. Now, when you twist, you want to try to exercise your eyes as well as looking as far as you possibly can over your shoulder. You might even feel a little internal ocular pressure. Please don't do that with your eyes if you've ever had a detached retina, not to be confused with posterior vitreous detachment. A detached retina, you don't do that with your eyes. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, back to center. Now, a second way to do this, we're going to tie in those hip adductor muscles, inner thighs. Take your block, level 3, between the knees. Double check. Your feet are only as wide as the block. Don't do this because your knees are not together. So we want to keep the feet as wide as the block. If that block falls, that means I am not working my inner thigh muscles enough. And this is really helpful, folks, for people who sit in a chair all day long. So again, hand, inhale up. You know the modification, those of you with the back spine issues. Exhale, hold here. Now inhale, lengthen spine. I still look forward. Push down into the feet. Squeeze that block. Belly button is really deeply drawn in. And turn and look over the shoulder. Just another variation in Ardha Matsyendrasana, half spinal twist, half fish. Shoulders are down. Then inhale, look forward. Exhale, take it to the other side. Inhale, up. Exhale, lateral rotation of the shoulder. Inhale, lengthen, squeeze that block, shoulders down. Exhale, twist. Draw the belly button in. Think you're sliding your shoulder blades down toward the seat so we can get the tops of those shoulders not to pop up on you. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, torso, arm forward. Just kind of notice what's going on when you first release from a twist. I feel like a whole rush of blood and vibrancy in this area. And now for the last version of it, together. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Again, don't force it with the use of muscling it up with your arms. Not necessary. Trying to look as far over your shoulder as you can with your gaze. Inhale head, exhale torso, keep going. Inhale, exhale with that lateral rotation. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. We want to coordinate breath and movement in yoga. That's referred to as the word vinyasa. Vinyasa also means something else in another style of yoga, but technically that's what it means, coordinating the breath and the movement. And then inhale, head forward, exhale, torso, arm, back to center. I'm still staying forward, so maybe you've been forward quite a bit and your back needs support. Grab the cushion, all right? So I'm going to separate my legs. Now, for those of you with back spine issues, this is what you're going to do. I want you to bring your hands underneath. You can sit, of course, all the way back in the chair, and you're going to lift your thigh up. So I want you to think you're lifting your thigh up toward the right side of your torso. Guess what that is? That's the ascending colon. That responds to twisting and compression. And then you do it to the other side. Remember, with oppositional movement in yoga, I push down in one to help lift the other. And you're going to alternate this as the rest of us do something else. So we're going to bring the hands behind the head, and we're going to do a seated abdominal twisted crunch. Let's get those obliques, folks, okay? And I'm not resting back in the chair. If you need to, feel free to do it. So I'm going to push down in one foot and bring elbow to knee. I'm going to stay there for a beat or two. I'm not going to come right out of it. Draw that belly button in and then slowly lower down. Inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee, knee to elbow. You don't have to have them touch. And then lower down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. You might find one side is a little stronger than the other. And then take it down. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Belly button drawn in. Notice I'm kind of keeping the head up and down. Inhale. Exhale. And lower. Inhale. Exhale. Belly button drawn in. Go after that transverse. Go after the internal, external obliques. And lower. Also going after hip flexor muscles. The front of that upper thigh area. And lower. And stretching the low back when we do this. We're going to do one more to each side. Here we go. And lower. And again, exhaling into it. Keep pulling that belly button in. And then take it down. Relax the arms down. Let's take some nice big shoulder rolls. We deserve a little bit of a break here. So I'm going to ask you to take your blocks out in front of you. I'm going to stack them like so. And place the outside edges of your feet on the blocks. But folks, I want you to make sure that that low back is fully supported. Oftentimes when people do this, I see them slide right down. And it's just like, no, I want you all the way back and supported. Just rest your hands wherever they might. And this is a seated version of goddess pose. Wonderful way to release those adductor muscles, the inner thighs. It's also great to release your back. Just take a couple of breaths here. So I would invite everybody for this one. I don't see any contraindications unless you know that you have something, of course, apply it. Now, back spine, you stay here. I'm going to inch a bit forward here, and I'm going to hold on to the shins. Now, notice what my back does right away. There's a subtle extension. So I'm going to kind of do it incorrectly here. So I'm here. That's not what I want. I want you to use those strong arms, depress the shoulder girdle, and get your torso up So it's a subtle back bend. It's like that baby back bend of the cow we did in the beginning. Then I'm going to push the elbows down. Notice that you can see that I'm not pushing into my inner knee. You don't want to push here because you can malalign the patella, which is the kneecap. It's kind of floating around there in the joint, not attached to anything. And we can mess it up if we push into it. So this is variation on cobbler's pose, the seated version. Baddha Konasana. Keep that chest up, depress the shoulder girdle. The elbows are bent. That means the biceps are actually helping you. If you want to go lower, you can just avoid inner knee. And if you go lower and you have GERD, vertigo, or hypertension, don't drop that head down. The idea here, folks, is we absolutely want the lumbar spine of the low back to do its natural lordotic curve, which is a back extension, and let the cervical spine do the same. So we always want those two to match, almost always want them to match each other. And now placing the hands alongside the thighs. By the way, this one, really great for younger women with menses, all right, menses problems or issues, and draw the knees together. I do want to mention something, and I'm glad I just said that. If this video falls into the hands of a woman who is pregnant, most of this video is contraindicated for you because turning and twisting postures, remember, they are to eject toxins from the body. Please pay attention to me. I've had 2 women in my for my yoga career of 21 years who did not pay attention to me, and they miscarried because they were doing twisting postures. So please pay attention to that. I'm sorry, I went off on a little tangent there, but I think that it was absolutely important for you. All right, now I'm going to bring the blocks out in front, stacked still, and this is where you're going to grab that yoga strap, and I'm going to lift my heel onto the blocks, and I am stretching the feet wide apart. The leg, thigh, the knee, everything straight out in front. What I'm going to do is pull the butt flesh back and out on that one side. I want you to take your yoga strap, bring it around the ball of the foot. Why the ball of the foot and not the arch? Because if I were down on the floor holding it, I would be grabbing the ball of the foot with my hand. So those of you with back spine issues, this is what you're going to do for this sequence. You push out and you pull from the biceps. Have you ever seen anybody in yoga with a strap and they do this? Well, it defeats the point of the strap. You want to slide up, get those biceps engaged so you're not pulling from the shoulders because I'm bending the elbows. An oppositional movement in yoga, push out through the heel, press down in the underside of the leg, push down in the opposite foot to help you keep that spine nice and tall. Now, if you want to and you have the ability to go deeper, go for it. You could hold the strap. You could also take your peace fingers, all right, and wedge them in between the big and second toe in what's called yogi toe lock. And I'm lifting the chest to pull forward. Notice the bicep is doing the pulling, not the shoulder. I mean, it's involved a little bit, but the bicep takes over. Now, from here, what I'd like you to do is you can start to lift that leg up as high as you can go with it. You can use your strap, you can use your yogi toe lock, whatever works. Now, this is where the opposite foot is really important so you don't collapse, right? If you're collapsing, lower the leg. You're willing to do less to be in proper form. Now, what I'm going to do is take the strap over to the other side. I'm going to bring my left arm out, leg out to the side. Belly button is in. Pull from the bicep. Push out through the heel. Press down. Lift. Get all of these structures involved here. And breathe. So this one is Padangusthasana. And basically I'm bringing my hand to the big toe. Technically, Hasta Padangusthasana, because Hasta means hand in Sanskrit. And now, inhale, I take it forward. Exhale, I'm going to bring the opposite hand to the outside edge of the foot. Holding here, I'm now going to bring that arm up and twist it. Those of you with back spine, you're not going to do this, right? But you can do the modified twist I showed you earlier on. Hold steady. Now, maybe some of you can't do this with the leg out. You can bend the knee in. You could hold on to the chair. It's all still a twist for you. Reaching back through the middle finger, pushing out through the front heel, pulling with the opposite arm, pushing down with the opposite foot. So we're twisting the hand to big toe pose. So it's Parvrita Hasta Padangusthasana. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, crisscross, if possible. You don't have to. Inhale, let's bring the knee toward the chest and shoulder. And then exhale, try it again. Can you go higher without leaning back? You don't have to. You could use the strap. Beautiful stretches all the way from the sole of the foot. That's the plantar fascia, connective tissue, to the Achilles tendon, the calf, the hamstring, the glute, even the low back. And then I bring the knee in, remove the strap, set the foot down. Now that's quite a bit of work on that hip joint. So I'm going to sit a little forward and I'm going to push down on the opposite foot. Let's lift it. And I'm going to do what I call hip circles, just to release the joint. Now you don't have to touch the floor with your foot. In a reverse direction, and settle the foot down. We get to do the other side because it's our lucky day, right? So I move the blocks over. I'm double checking. I moved around a lot in the chair, pulling that butt flesh back and out again. So now we bring the heel on. You know that you're in trouble when you know that your calf is so tight that just doing that just reminded me I just recently worked my legs, but it's a good feeling. It's at least a feeling of a little bit of accomplishment. Now, I'm going to bring the strap around the ball of the foot. Again, those of you come here if you have the back spine issues. Pushing out through the heel, pressing down on the opposite foot, pulling with the strong arms, lifting the chest. And there's just so much going on that you can turn your chair yoga into something quite dynamic. And then, of course, if I want to go deeper, Yogi Tola, pull. I'm not even going to comment on what I'm feeling. I'm not in pain, because if I were in pain, I would back up. So you need to understand the difference between muscular discomfort and muscular pain. We don't want that. Now, oftentimes pain occurs in a joint as well. You totally don't want that. So we're pulling, pushing, and then we're going to take it up, push out, pull, bicep, push down on the opposite, right? Still pulling on the strap. Now I'm going to grab the strap, take it over, arm out, and then over we go. Pushing out, reaching out, opposite sides. See energy coming out through the fingers. I don't want to see like this kind of thing. People kind of forget energy comes into the hand as well. Pull from the opposite bicep, holding that leg up. Hand to big toe pose. Hasta Padangusthasana. And then inhale, we take it forward. Exhale, take a hold of the outside edge of the foot. Just hold here. And then arm up and take your twist. I showed you the modified twist on the other side. Feel free to take it if need be. Back spine, you know that your modification from before. Reaching back through the middle finger, pushing out through the heel, pulling with the opposite arm, pushing down on the opposite foot. Keep that spine lifted. Parvrita, we added the element of twist. Inhale, head forward. Exhale, crisscross. Hold steady. Inhale, I want to bring the knee to the chest. And then exhale, I'm going to take my time with this one because I'm in there. Pulling, pushing, belly button in. And inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, set the foot down. And let's release that hip. So push down one foot, lift the other, and circle it. Now, when you do this, make sure you're upright, because sometimes I see people doing this stuff. It's like, no. Hold yourself up. That's the point of the work. And alternate. And if you need the cushion behind you, use it. Why not? It's another great prop. And relax it down. So now we're going to take a little subtle break. We're going to sit back into the chair. Inhale, open. And now on the exhale, self-hug. So wedge those fingers in between the shoulder blades. Now here, this is wonderful for those of you with back spine, because this is going to be 11 and 1 o'clock. And this is just a built-in wonderful rotation for you, where you give yourselves a little bit of love. And I know Amy loves this position. And then back to center. Inhale, open. Exhale, I'm going to bring the opposite arm on top and work that self-hug. Rock the baby. And back to center. Okay, we're going to have a little fun here. Now, I'm going to bring the blocks on level 3 to the outside edges of the chair. Now, there is a pose in yoga called Utkatasana, and it means awkward or chair pose. You know, we're in it. I thought, let's build up on it, right? So it's actually technically the squat. So I want you to place the hands again underneath the buttock flesh. Let's pull it back out and wick it away toward the shoulders. From here, I want you to come into the chair pose, and we're going to do one of 3 versions for the arms, and you get to pick and choose what you like. So for those of you with pinched nerve and rotator cuff, a lot of times I see you folks struggling, trying to hold your arms and bring them together, and you're just struggling. All you have to do is press your shoulders down and then lift the arms. The palms are not fully facing the ceiling, a little bit though, and they're nice and wide. It'll free up your neck, it'll free up your shoulders, and it'll allow you to hold in that Utkatasana. Now, for those of you who don't have those issues, then you can bring the arms up. I would not do this with rotator cuff and pinched nerve. I would not do that. And my palms, take a peek here, never change when I lift the arms up. And now I'm going to look up. They're pushing down to the feet. And just think about somebody who might need a little bit of your TLC, some tender loving care, and send them some love and light. And then, if you want to, you can create a steeple with your hands. You interlock your fingers, except the index fingers and the thumbs, and you're going to take those arms up and overhead and look up. Definitely not for rotator cuff nor for pinched nerve. Just reach, expression of love and gratitude right out from your heart. Give it up to the universe. And now I'm going to bring my hands in what's called Namaste position at the heart. And basically, it's Anjali Mudra. A mudra is a hand gesture, and this is the hand gesture of the angels. So I'm going to bring the feet together. I'm coming a little forward and bring my legs right up against each other, not for back spine, please. So from here, I'm now going to hinge forward. Notice the chest is up, and then I'm going to wedge that left elbow to the outside of the right thigh, making it a strong, powerful prayer position at the heart. Energy goes forward through the heart center. We're pushing the right hip forward, left hip back to square off the pelvis. Belly button is in. I'm going to bring that block a little more forward. And we're in Parvarita Utkatasana, twisting the awkward or chair pose. And you can also bring hand down, opposite, out and up. You can also keep that hand on the waist if it's too much for you. Yes, no eating before yoga. Parvarita Utkatasana as we bring out the intestines. And then inhale, hands to the heart. Exhale, I come back up. I'm reaching up, up, up. And then inhale. Exhale, I take it over to the other side, wedging elbow. Good, powerful prayer at the heart center. You might be able to see from this view what goes on a little bit with the upper shoulders and back spine. Pushing left knee forward, pulling right hip back. Parvrita, twisted, Utkatasana, awkward or chair pose. I'm going to bring my block forward. And now lowering hand to block, opposite hand, you can sweep it out and up. Keep those knees pressing into each other. Almost think you're rolling the inner thighs in toward each other. And then inhale, hands back to the prayer at the heart. And then exhale forward. Inhale, up. And exhale, hands to namaste. Hold for the moment. And now let's sit back in the chair again. Let me put this here and open up. Self-hug. Sit tall. Rock the baby. Inhale, open. Exhale, opposite arm. Reach in there behind the shoulder blades, the scapulae. Rock the baby. And back to center. We're going to do one more pose before our final relaxation. So this one's kind of fun. So I'm going to turn on the chair, and I'm just going to come up and forward a little bit here. So now, caution, if you have vestibular challenges with your balance, don't do what I'm doing. Stay all the way in on your chair. I have pulled myself out so that my left glute, I don't know, I'm going to call it my real right glute because I'm not sure what you're seeing. So I'm going to say my real right glute is off the chair. So therefore, my left glute is on the chair. The back of the left knee is touching the edge of the seat. Hold on. Everybody needs to hold on, all right? And what I'm going to do is come up into the ball of the foot, and then I'm going to slide that leg back, pushing back through the heel, creating the back bend. Hold steady. This is Anjaneyasana, full out, crescent moon, and arm up if you wish. And breathe. So we're stretching that hip flexor area, the quadricep area. Now you can also take it into that side bend. So I'm okay with this for everybody, really, if they feel all right with it. The exception might be for those of you with the pinched nerve and or rotator cuff. You can keep hand to waist. Lateral flexion feels juicy here. Now, not for back spine. Please do not do this part of it, which is the twist. I am not, notice I'm just lightly holding onto the chair, folks. I'm not cranking it with the arms to get this big, deep twist. That would be inappropriate here. Hold here. So it's kind of like a Parvrita Anjaneyasana, twisting the crescent moon. And then inhale, head forward. Now, stay holding on with both hands. Exhale, bring that foot in, get fully onto the seat before you turn and take this to the other side. So now I do have to adjust my seat a bit on this side. All right, so now sitting all the way out, my real left glute is not on the chair, but I am definitely on the chair with the right, holding on with the hand. And foot is flat, back of the knee, supported here by the edge of the seat. So now I slide it back, push back through the heel, making sure the hips are squared. So that right hip comes a little forward, or for me, the real left hip is facing forward. If you want, arm up. Oh gosh, it feels so good because it's such a beautiful stretch, the anterior side. And then if you want, take it over for the lateral flexion. You can always keep hand on waist when there are other issues of the neck or shoulder. And now lastly, not for back spine. Belly button gets drawn in even more for the twist. Don't crank it out with the arms, muscling it up, inappropriate. And then inhale, head forward. I'm holding on with both hands. Exhale, bring the leg in. Onto the seat fully first, then turn in the chair. And now for a much deserved final relaxation. So you can stay here just like so, or you can grab your blocks, which I definitely am. And for me, I like to stack them. And then I'm going to bring both heels on the blocks. Lower back is supported. Hands just relaxing down. Close the eyes. Focus on the breath. Allowing the body to release, relax, let go. Expressing gratitude and appreciation for our great and glorious good health. Appreciating our bodies for working so hard for us. And sending those in need love and light. I bring my hands together in front of the heart. The light and spirit within me honors the light and spirit within you. And this translates into the word namaste. And at the end of each class, we bid each other namaste. Thank you, Amy.
Namaste.
Namaste.